Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Queen Candy Podcast. This is our very first live stream here on StreamYard, and we're live on Facebook, Instagram, and our YouTube page under the Queen Candy Podcast. And we have a very special guest in the building, our family, sis, network. She's on the same network, the CTR Media Network, right along with us. Miss Sandy Sanders, author, Queen. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm super excited to be here with you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Yes,
coming.
indeed. Indeed. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem.
I'm doing good. I'm doing well. Super excited about our conversation. Very excited about being a part of the CTR family, and I get to meet you.
Yes,
So I'm very excited. Thank you for having me.
no problem. Thank you. Thank you. So we're just gonna get right into it. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where you're from, about your book. She's an author as well, y'all. What you got going on? How you got into the business? Go ahead.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And because I don't want to mess up your name, come on, help me out.
My name is Manima Muhammad.
Don't have
So,
to say it no more. I got it,
all right.
Mahima.
Yes.
Listen, this is an amazing woman, and I am super, super excited. I am Sandy Sanders. I am the creator and host of Coffee Conversations with Sandy and Friends, as well as Book Talks with Sandy. It is the platform that we host roundtable conversations. We host anthology book projects where authors come on and share about their stories. Stories are incredible. And so, as an author, I am a 6-time best-selling author, and we're about to
Oh,
hit number 7, and international author, global speaker, and super, super excited to be with you on tonight. We're in, yes. So I'll let you go ahead. So I'm on the other side. I'm sitting
yeah.
here. A lot of times, I interview individuals. That's what I do. And we're
Okay.
both podcasters. And so it's good to be sitting across on the other side of the table.
It
Yes.
is nice a little bit sometimes, right?
Yes, indeed.
So you said you were a 6-time bestseller?
Yes, I am. When we counted, actually, it's 8. We're at
Eight.
8. We are at 8, 8 bestsellers. And out of the 8, 3 of them are internationals.
Wow. Tell us how that feel. Because you got to give me some tips. I'm only one book in,
Uh
working on
huh.
the second book. So how you become a best-selling author? How does that happen?
Well, it's an amazing feeling, and to actually be an author. When I first had the opportunity, the very first book was a very short little chapter, and this little chapter was about a note to a younger woman, and in that note, I shared about the most important relationship that a person can have, and that is to have your relationship with Jesus Christ. And one of the other things is that I went from that book into a larger anthology book project, and that is Trailblazers Who Lead. That is the book that went bestseller. It
Oh,
went
okay.
Amazon #1 bestseller. That was my second book. And then from there, opportunities were just presented to me. And did I know that I had so much to say? No.
Oh, yeah, no.
I did not realize that I had so much to say and pen it on paper. And so now I'm finding that and you know what? I talked about it a little bit in my most recent chapter that is about to be released in a book called Undefeated.
Okay.
And it talks about the successes of a businesswoman. And I realized that my writing pattern had begun to change. And I no longer was writing as a victim
Okay.
because I had to overcome some struggles in my life.
Yep.
I am very candid about my years as a corporate employee in a Fortune 500 company many years ago. Well, not many. Yeah, it was about 20 years ago. Now, when I think about it, wow.
Oh,
Um,
bye.
yes, yes.
Sometimes.
I worked in the telecommunication, but yeah, I went through drinking. That was even before then. So I'm very candid about the deliverance and no longer walking in that space, but how God healed me. And I share about my experiences as a functional person who would drink after work every
Oh,
day,
wow.
and worked in the corporate world. And that's just a snippet of it. But I also share about my years of drugs when I lived in the 80s. So I'm 61 years old. So
Wow.
a lot happened in the 80s and the 90s. So
Oh,
God
yeah.
just spared my life so I can enjoy my grandbabies. And so,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
woo,
So I'm very
wow.
candid about what, and so I've noticed that in my writing is that I don't write about so much as the struggle. I write about the successes of, I've noticed that, yeah, I've really, and I talk about that, is that I don't have to write as a victim, um
Exactly.
that I'm victorious and walking
Yep.
victorious. Yeah.
Yep. And that's the same thing that, we went through. We Muslim, so we follow a different lifestyle and live
Yes.
completely different. It's to each his own. So we say that
Yeah.
just to let people know that's, our lifestyle. But same backstories, similar
Yeah.
to yours. And when we do our show, we real candid too. We don't really, hold anything back. We give our story because we had a little history with drugs and alcohol and oh wow, depression, mental issues and suicide. So it's a long story, but um realize the same thing. That our first batch of music was us getting that out of our system, and we did feel like the victim at the time, but now we don't have to feel like that anymore. We don't have to feel, weak or
Yeah.
like we have to be like other people. You know what we mean?
That's right.
We can be an original. You can step up and be a leader, and we're both in the position. That's what we love about our show is we can show people how it's really supposed to be done, and
Exactly.
you know,
Yes.
just you don't have to hide your story. A lot of people feel like, oh, you just got to get over it. You're still hanging on to that. No, people, have to heal, and it
That's
sounds
right.
like that's what you went through as well,
Hmm.
and same here. So, what's the mission you hope to push behind your show?
Ultimately, as with Book Talks with Sandy, is that when I became an author, I truly did not know how to get my book out.
Right.
And that was over 2.5. We're going into year 2 with Book Talks with Sandy. But the coffee conversation platform was just an idea. I love coffee. I
Is that
love
how it came
coffee.
about?
Girl, I used to drink coffee all the time. That was my only water intake. And so then,
Ooh.
and one thing I can say, that my understanding is, about your faith, is the discipline. And so I respect it so much.
Yep.
And so those are the areas that we grow. I think individually, no matter what your faith walk is
Right.
that it requires some discipline. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that as well. But what I want to accomplish is to have a space. It is my first fruit. What I
Hmm.
mean by that is that I made a commitment. I made a commitment that as long as I was doing this space, that there are more authors out there that were like me. They
Right.
didn't know how to get their book out. They wanted to, and so since then, 2 years now, going into 3, there are plethora of platforms. There's
Yep.
author groups. Oh my goodness, you have
There's so
author groups
many.
all over. Yes.
Let's
And
beware.
so when you begin to make yourself available for that, and so that is our goal, is to continue to have a space for authors to come and share their story, that it is a safe space. And it is a safe space for individuals to be able to come and share what they've
Yeah.
experienced and how they got through it.
Oh yeah.
Um, whether it was through therapy, whether it was through a faith walk, and or a changing of their job, or whatever way that they were able to overcome their circumstances, or even I've even had authors to come on and talk about business tips.
Okay.
To have an amazing book in your toolbox as a business owner. So that is our goal. That is our that and to put the book in someone's hand. That
Man.
is the goal, for them to share the story. And most certainly, that is our goal. I want somebody to have your
Yeah.
book.
Yes. And I was just
I'm
gonna
going to
ask you
push that
that.
book out.
Right. So, for someone like ourselves, like we said, we have a book on Amazon, um, that's still struggling to get book sales and promote their book. What would be the best advice you could give before we get into the topic of the evening?
Okay. One of them is, yes, make sure that, as you were mentioning, is that, and it's good that we use Amazon as
Yep.
that, because Amazon is what's behind me being listed as a number one. Okay, so I am an Amazon number one bestseller.
Okay.
Whereas you have um, the bestsellers list,
Yep.
and New York bestsellers. Would that be an ultimate dream goal? Absolutely, to
Oh
be a
yeah.
new yes, but to one of the strategies that I've personally used is to, now that spaces have been made available outside of the virtual world, is find out where there are book shows, or
Mhm.
where, and be creative with your book, bundle it, maybe also begin to get into the t-shirt world,
Yep.
and put your book with a t-shirt, or if your book has a message. So there's creative ways that
Okay.
you can be able to gain some revenue from
Right.
having, because it is costly, it can be costly to have a book, and but you also want your book to be in other people's hands. So
Exactly.
that creative way, so one of the ways is, how can you package it? And then here's another thing, here's another good tip, is how to have a roundtable discussion, or
Okay.
a master class, or an event, if it is a book with chapters. So those are different ways that you can be able to. My husband is getting ice.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. Oh, we're married too, so we know how it goes.
Yes. But yes, is be able to, that is one way. If you have a topic, and the topic could be, just I talked about
Yeah.
coffee being a subject. Well, you have different flavors. You could even have a coffee tasting, and and read from your book. There's so many creative ways that you, and what would be the way to put that book in others individuals hands, is that you have those
Yes.
different things. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for that because we need that
You're
advice as
welcome.
well. So thank you for that.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
definitely gonna be looking into that, getting some merch and t-shirts and
Yeah.
hats, whole nine
Yeah.
yards
Oh
for
yeah,
next
they
year.
use that word merch. It's not merchandise.
It's a
Those
different
are the
thing.
branding words. Yes. Marketing.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, I love
Okay.
it. I love it.
Okay, so the topic for the evening, Miss Sandy, is breast cancer survivors. So that's what we're doing this evening. Do you know
Yeah.
anyone that's close to you that survived it or has been through it? And give us the backstory on that.
Sure, absolutely. I am a daughter, well, sister of five girls. My
Oh,
dad has five children. My father has since transitioned and passed on. And one of the sisters out of five of us, um, just when our father passed away, and she was diagnosed with breast cancer,
oh wow.
and young. I mean, I believe my sister was in her She one just turned 50. I turned 60 last year. I want to say that she is maybe 54, but this happened
Oh, wow.
maybe 8 years ago. So she was in her
Wow.
40s. And that was one, my sister, yes, had the test and detected. And yes, it did come back. And she ended up with a double mastectomy. She is an amazing, she's a teacher.
Mm,
And so we walked through that process together with her, um, with the losing of her hair. And then eventually, and one of the things I love is that outside of her natural sisters, she has a circle of friends, and her circle of friends are her sister, are her girlfriends.
oh,
And um, there is an amazing, beautiful picture of her that yeah, we're just so thankful of her coming through the battle, because when they talk about it being a battle, that you're fighting a battle, that it is. And when it affects one person, it affects all of those that are connected. So when it affected her, it affected all of us. And so we're thankful that she is still with us, and blossoming and doing amazing.
that's good.
Yeah.
So give us, you said the losing the hair. Did she lose her appetite? I can't imagine. Don't
Yeah.
closest thing I've ever come to is watching my sister go through leukemia,
Okay.
and I know that's two different things, but that's the closest I've ever come. Watching her go through chemo, she couldn't eat solid foods for like a month,
Yeah.
and as family member, it's hard watching them go through that. So, what was that like for you?
Yeah.
Not being able to do what you really want to do to help her, but what
Yeah.
was that like? Was that
The
stressful,
first,
hard?
it was hard. It was hard for me because my sister lives in North Carolina and I'm in Mississippi.
Oh wow.
And so um, the initial learning of it was when our father passed away. And so we had to get through that first. And then when we had our gathering meeting and she let us all know via conversation, I had come back to North Carolina, I had come back to Mississippi. And the next thing we get the information, I'm having surgery.
Wow.
So naturally, I drop everything. My husband and I, we traveled to North Carolina to be with her
Right.
during her surgery. I wanted to be there. I wanted to go through, I wanted to be there, hold her hand,
Yeah.
just before
Yeah.
she goes in, and the whole nine. I wasn't able to stay with her for but about 2 days. I think I stayed for 2 days,
Okay.
but to be there the day of the surgery. So that we go through that process.
Oh wow.
So this was prior to COVID. And so I relate it now that I'm talking with you is that to watch her, we only were able to communicate via phone, um, through my other sister that was right by her side. So out of all five of us, there is one that she's just really, really close to, and it's like that. And we
Of course.
understand.
Yeah.
So she's like her ride or die, and I say, okay, I got the other sister. She's my ride or die.
Hey, there you go.
So to watch her go through the experience, and then so it was for me, it was tough because
Right.
I couldn't be there hands on, but to know how we all supported in many ways. You chip in, you do what you got to do, because
Yeah.
she at that time was a pharmacist, a pharmacist assistant for a major, pharmacy like Walgreens and CVS. But yeah, so to be there to support, because she had adult children, and one child, my niece, was not an adult, and so we had to kind of be there for family. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Family have to kick in.
Yes.
And yeah, so I would think same with as you were saying, you went through another type of sickness with your sister.
Right.
It but it all, listen, when
It was hard.
it's
It was
hard.
really hard because watching her in the hospital bed like that. I was the first person she actually called
Really?
when she found out, and I thought she was gonna die. I'm just
Yeah.
being
Yeah. Yeah.
completely
Yeah.
honest, but luckily, it was caught early, and she was able to do the chemo, and it was you
Yeah.
can't fight, and like you can be there, and it was good that your family, came together, and of course we were there for her at
Hmm.
the time, but
Hmm.
not being able to, you could take the pain away and not have to watch them go through that. It's
Yeah.
helpless feeling. So it was hard, but luckily she made it through. So
Yes. Well, that's wonderful. And I think being a support system, that is very, very key. And and when we talk about individuals that are, they're survivors, and no, I did not experience or have to go through the walk or the journey, but I've watched my sister, and to have watched my sister go through it, as and now, they're friends. They're, what I mean they're friends is that, I want to complete my sentence, Sandy, is that that I have had a close friend that I just recently lost,
oh,
and she did succumb to cancer. But in those years, I did see her. I mean, she was a fighter. She was a fighter. And so um, when I look at my sister, it gives me courage, because she had the courage and she
oh
got
yeah,
through it. It was tough at times. It was tough. But I look at her now, and all we can do is just say, thank you, Lord.
yep, yeah.
Absolutely.
We say Elijah greater, so we say
Uh-huh.
that's always good. But you know she is cancer free now.
Amen. That's good.
Yes, and your sister is cancer free as
And
well.
she is, absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
And how long has she been cancer free?
I want to say it's been 4 years,
Well,
and we watched and we supported her when she rang the bell. They do this,
okay.
yeah, they ring the bell when they're no longer having to go through chemo.
Oh,
And that is, it's just exciting. There's some wonderful things that happened to her. She became a poster person for Allstate Insurance.
okay.
And they heard her story, and began to she became the face of their promotion during breast cancer awareness month, that particular year. And so some phenomenal things happened out of it. And she can only share, I share it from where I sit as her
Right.
sister,
Of course.
um and how it affected our. And here's the beautiful thing is that, being the oldest of five girls, and I'm
Ooh.
61, and one of my youngest just turned 50. And so so to watch us all together now, is that, as I told you, one was her ride and die, and then I have another one that's the ride and
Yeah,
die.
yeah, you said that.
And so we kind of, have our own little thing. But we, this past year, made up in our mind that whatever differences that we've had as women, as sisters in families, that we were not going to let that keep us apart.
Right.
And so we were very strategic and intentional, because I think COVID woke a lot of people up,
Oh yeah.
because we were losing families left and right. People
Oh
were
yeah.
just passing, in numbers. And it was probably and happening so fast, until, as fast as one passed away, here comes another. So life is very important. You know,
Yeah, you only get one.
you only get one.
There's no do-overs, no coming back.
No,
So no, at
exactly.
all. What you gonna
Mm-mm.
do with it while you're here?
What are you going to do with it while you're here? And so yes, so it's very important. I think when we talk about being a cancer survivor, and there's various forms, and I think we're discussing cancer or breast cancer.
Right.
Breast cancer affects So many women from all walks of life, and it has no discriminate. In other words, it doesn't discriminate whether you're black, whether you're white, whether you're short, whether you're tall.
Oh, none of that.
None of that. Even gender, because men have also been diagnosed with breast cancer as well, and it's not often discussed or talked
Right.
about. So it is important that we're having this discussion.
Yeah, I did hear about that. So is that as common as women, men having breast cancer?
Breast cancer in for the men is, I wouldn't say it's common, but
Right.
yes, it does occur.
Okay.
um that, yeah, men have to get tested just like women do. They
Wow.
should be. Yeah.
Wow. No, and I heard about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's amazing. But how do they is this process the same as women? I'm just asking because I've heard about it, but I don't know all the
Mhm.
details. So is it the same for men?
Well, what I'm looking at, that it's rare forms of breast tissue in men,
Okay.
though breast cancer is mostly common. And this is according to the Mayo Clinic. And I feel like it's a very reliable source of
Right.
information. So those that are listening, it's the mayoclinic.org. And you will be able to find this information. According to them, male breast cancer is a rare cancer that forms in a male's breast tissue. Though it's most commonly thought of as a disease that affects just women, breast cancer, as you and I are just now, just, we're having this discussion.
Right.
One of the facts that they say is that men diagnosed with male breast cancer at an early age do have a good chance for a cure.
Okay.
Treatment typically involves surgery to remove the breast tissue. Other treatments, such as chemotherapy and radiation therapy, may be recommended based on the particular situation. So you were asking, does a man go through the same thing? So for
I
a
said right.
male, signs and symptoms are this: can include a painless lump or thickening of the breast tissue,
Oh.
changes to the skin covering the breast, such as limping, puckering, redness, or scaling,
Hmm.
changes in their nipple, such as redness or scaling, or that the nipple begins to turn inward for a male. And then, of course, the discharge from a male's nipple. And if a man is experiencing this, definitely have any of those signs or
Yeah.
symptoms to consult their physician. Yeah. And so that's the information from the mayoclinic.org.
Wow. Do you know we went to medical school and never learned that? They
Wow.
they don't teach that.
Wow. My goodness.
That should be taught because it's not as common, as women, but men go through it too.
They
So
do. Hmm.
I we never ever learned that. Wow, that's amazing. So how is your sister doing now? What is she doing now? What she got going on now?
What she got going on? She is in her self discovery of weight loss, and so we are cheering her on. We are super super. She is really big on being committed. She's a teacher. She's an
Okay.
middle school teacher,
Okay.
and very good at what she does. And her students love her. She's a football fan. So of course, a lot of times she'll take pictures and send of her
What team?
students. Oh, girl, I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, she's a football fan.
Okay.
And so right now she is yes, just enjoying life.
That's
Just
good.
enjoying life. Yeah, yeah,
That's good,
yeah.
yeah. And we're gonna say this and close out. We're gonna let Miss Sandy give her social media, but we're just gonna say this really fast. You get one life, y'all. Life is hard, but you still
Yeah.
got to live it. You still have a pulse. You still breathing. Sandy just gave us the backstory with her sister, and we all out here fighting the different disease, whether it be mental, physical, emotional, or sickness. But, you know, this is the time, especially right now, we really have to come together. And I
Yes.
just want to applaud you and your family because a lot of our people don't know how to do that. And that was beautiful that y'all were able to be there, you know,
Yeah.
for one another. A lot of people will never get to even experience what that's like.
Yeah.
And we thought that was beautiful. Y'all were there for each other, and your sister fought through. And it's a mental thing dealing with a lot of issues in life,
Yeah.
period. So it just starts with your mental. You're going to be a fighter or you're going to just lay down.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things we talk about a lot on our show because we understand, you know, we've watched it, watched people go through it,
Yeah.
and we've been through a lot of things ourselves. So now we just keep doing
Yep.
this, keep going forward.
There you
You
go.
know,
Keep
you
going
don't
forward. Yeah.
exactly.
We have to. We have to. And I think because once we can determine that we have an assignment in life, and I believe that I believe that and I've just recently really feel this. I feel that I have um, grown a level in my spiritual walk. And
Okay.
this just recently happened. Um, and in my faith walk, and I see things differently than I did a month ago. I would say a month, maybe 2 months ago. The way I see things now, I did not see them the same. If I saw a situation, I would look at the situation totally different
Right.
now than I would have 2 months ago. And it is because of just what you said is that we've got to keep moving.
Yep.
You cannot change what has happened in the past. If you try to spend the majority of your time trying to figure out why it happened, you're missing out on the present moment. Does that
Yep.
make sense?
Oh yeah, perfectly. You
Yeah,
know, it's letting go of the past. You have to let it go. You
you
know,
have to
it
let it go. Yeah,
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 it
yeah.
may have hurt you, destroyed you,
Come
and put
on.
you through a lot of pain, but it got us to where we are, you to
Yes,
where you are, and anyone that sees this, it'll
yeah,
get you to wherever you plan to be in your life. Like we said, life is hard for everybody. We
that's
don't
right.
care who you are, but you know, as long as you're still breathing, you can either keep focusing on something that's done and over with, or you can just move forward and accept your role because we
Yeah,
do play a role in it too
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
But you know, you can either look to this way, that way, or look backward, but you can't. Not gonna be able to do both. So
That's so true.
you have to let it go. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, you may have to cut some people off along the way. But if you really want to grow,
that's so
the
true.
personal, that's how it is.
That is so true. That's good. I like that. Yep.
Yes. So thank you, Miss
You're welcome.
Sandy,
You're
my
welcome.
CTR Media Network sister, for taking the
Yay!
time out for coming on the
Yes.
show. And shout out to Miss Tina as well for
Yay!
giving us the platform. Thank you, sis. Hopefully she'll get a
Oh,
chance to see
wow.
the interview. Of course, it went good. Definitely enjoyed talking to you, Miss Sandy.
Same
Thank
here.
you again. Give everybody the link to your books, where they
Yeah.
can find you at. If they want to book you, connect with you, where can they find you at?
You can find me right on Coffee Conversations. You can find me on Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram. I am Sandy Sanders. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me under Coffee Conversations with Sandy and Friends. And that's also where you can find Book Talks with Sandy. Simply just reach out to me, Book Talks with Sandy at gmail.com. And yeah, you can find us on and CTR family. Listen,
Yes.
I'm super excited. Can I just say one thing about
Yeah.
our fierce leader?
Yes.
The vision that she has for the podcasters, for us. I'm telling you, for me, this has opened up a whole world for me.
Yeah.
And never would I have dreamt that book talks with, well, coffee conversation
Hmm.
would be at the space that it is in. And congratulations on you. You are what listen, you're like at number one, number two. Listen, she is kicking it, you all. She is killing it.
Number
Yeah,
one.
she number one. Number one of the top 10. She is killing it in the podcasting world. She is amazing. She is phenomenal. And I want to salute you and honor you. Oh my goodness. So the CTR Family Media Network, under the amazing leadership of Dr. Tina Ramsey, we
Yes.
are super, super excited to just be among this great woman and the platform and the space that she provides for us as podcasters. I'm still learning. I'm
Yep.
still growing. And to find myself, I can look on my computer at my work and I'm like, I'm on Spotify. You better do it.
What did for us was
So you all, we're just
iHeartRadio. We was
laughing
like,
and having fun together. Uh, I know we'll be able to have an in-person space, but you all, we are now family.
yep.
And it is all about unity and family. So for me to come on the Queen Candy podcast, listen, I am super, super excited and cannot wait for this queen to come over to Coffee Conversations with Sandy and Friends, and we
Yes.
can have a cup of coffee, have a chat. And yes, we definitely are going to have her on our show. And so
Yeah.
we can hear all the wonderful and amazing things that she has happening over here on Queen Candy World. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you, Miss Sandy.
welcome.
We happy to be on the team. Our show was completely there. That's why we give Tina so much praise, because since we got on the network, it just shot up, and to be number one,
Yeah.
it was like
Y'all are
us.
doing it.
Wait a minute.
Y'all are doing it.
We don't know, and we always ask her about the numbers, so we just all we say is lives the greatest, and we just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And we're excited. It's just been a few months. It's
Yeah.
only been a few months since we
Yeah.
joined, and it's boomed and shot up. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just take a chance and
Yeah.
have faith, and we're glad we
And
did it. So
yeah. And glad
yeah.
you did it. Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Well, it has been amazing with you tonight.
Thank you, everyone. And of course, y'all can go to the Queen Candy Podcast. Once again, we're live on both of our Facebook pages and our YouTube, so y'all can go follow us there. Instagram as well. They need to put us on Instagram too, but Instagram as well under the Queen Candy Podcast. And we are looking. This is our very first one, so thank you, Miss Sandy,
You're
for being
welcome.
our very first video interview on our page on our live stream. And think that's it. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
No, we've had an amazing, amazing conversation. I've had lots of fun, and I'm looking forward to us doing more together.
Thank you. We're definitely going to connect. All right, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in. I saw some comments, so I'm about to go respond to them now. So I'm not ignoring nobody. I promise y'all. But to everyone that joined on, thank y'all so much. Thank you once again, Miss Sandy. Y'all stay blessed, and we will have more video streams to come. We'll talk to y'all next time.
All
All
right.
right, sis.